I know what you guys are thinking. David quit YouTube. He quit doing live mixes. He quit everything. I did not. I just worked 50 hours a week. I'm going to try and revive this series a little bit. I can't promise it's going to be weekly. However, 2 a month would be dope. So yeah, we're going to do some live mixes. I will be linking all the stems to most of these future episodes in the descriptions of these videos, because myself and a good friend of mine, Kyle Sorensen, who is also my Sweetwater rep, we are doing a thing where we kind of just mix the same records and send them back and forth to each other for feedback and just to kind of challenge ourselves. And we're using the Cambridge Multitrack library. So these are completely free to download multitracks. And yeah, go crazy. Use them to practice. There's every single genre you could possibly think of on there. And yeah, it'll make you a better mixer, I promise. It'll also make you a better producer, because you'll see some of these songs are arranged and recorded incredibly well, and that'll help you understand like where you do and don't need certain elements and all that good jazz. Arrangement, ideas, you know, the whole thing. So I'm going to keep these ones very unedited, and I'm just going to kind of go with the flow on things. But yeah, this song's called Fade, and I'll play a little bit of it for y'all, and then I'm going to just get straight into it. I also will say for the Cambridge library, it's a 50-50 chance that the tracks were recorded with a freaking trash can, or that they were recorded by God himself. So you'll see what I mean when you get into it.
Breaking day, daybreak again, making hay for hay-making men, killing time while time slowly kills you, wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
So this is recorded really well. It definitely, like, the overall balance could be a little bit better, which is what I'm gonna work on mainly, but the tone of everything is really, really nice. So I'm not gonna go too hard on processing things, more so just kind of pull all the vibe out. As you guys can see, there's quite a bit of layers here, especially for background vocals. I have everything in routing folders, so if I apply something to the top level of the folder, it'll hit everything. But for now, we're just going to start with drums. I tend to, especially when I'm working on live drums, I tend to mix them in solo. I know that's a sin. Don't do that. But I tend to get the general image of the drums in solo, and then I'll bring everything else back in. So, yeah. Now, a lot of people will tell you to bring up all of your mics in order that you recorded them in. However, I strongly disagree with this notion. And instead, what we're going to do is start with the kick. And then bring in the overheads next. And if you can get a solid image of your drums with just the kick and overheads, then you'll be able to figure out exactly how much of the other close mics you'll need in order to really bring out all of that. To me personally, this kick is feeling a little boxy, so I'm going to do some light EQ on these guys. If you never mixed live drums before, I strongly recommend learning how to do it, because it'll serve you very well. That sounds good for like the vibe of this track. Like if you're very used to mixing like samples, especially in hip hop, you're probably used to trying to not force, I should say, get the absolute most out of every single individual drum sound, and get them to slap as hard as possible. This is not necessarily the case for this specific song. So even for rock music, like, yeah, the drums got to be big and bombastic and stuff, but like that doesn't mean the kick needs to be on top of everything. As long as it hits you in the stomach and has a nice relationship with the bass, you're already in a really good spot. So what I'm doing here is putting all the kick mics in another folder and then routing that folder to the drum folder. So now if I want to raise or lower the volume of the kick itself, I can just do that with this fader. The snare sounds really freaking good too. I think I could take out a little bit of like lower mids, like 3 to 500 ish of the snare bottom, but other than that, I don't really want to do a whole lot. The other thing about mixing live drums, is that especially if there's no triggers or anything, which I try to avoid using as much as possible because I want it to sound like the band and I don't want it to sound like the band with stuff pasted on top. You want to get the most out of the performance. So you're not really necessarily changing it to fit what's in your head. You're more so just kind of reacting to what they gave you and embellishing that pretty musically, or as musically as you can. All right, so that hi-hat close mic is a little hot, and it tends to be in general, so I'm gonna... And then this room mic sounds really good too. Holy shit. Just gives the drums a bit of dimension. All right, shakers and tambo are fucking loud, so bringing those way down. And I'm sure you guys have noticed I haven't loaded a single compressor on these drums yet. I want to use as little compression as possible so that what I'm doing with it is more so kind of just beefing things up rather than like controlling dynamics, because I want this to breathe. I want it to be dynamic. I don't want it to be 100% power at all times, because then it just gets old. Sounds amazing already. Like, sorry about that. So I had to purchase something in order to make sure that this video works. Yeah, because nothing is free. Nothing is good. Nothing that is good is free. Remember that. All right. Just listen to how good this freaking API sounds on these drums. Without it, sorry, I jumped the level there. But yeah, it just adds beef and punch, whatever those words mean. Let me listen to this snare mic real quick. sounds good. Like I said, these drums sound great. I don't need to do a whole lot to them. I'm gonna move on to the bass. All right, so this track has a bass DI and a bass amp. That's really, really common in both studio and live stuff. So oftentimes what a lot of people use the amp for is extra low end and the actual like air pressure of the cone putting sound out. You feel it a little bit more. And then the DI is the clean tone, and you can use that to like help shape up the mid range and help it be a little bit more articulate. But personally, I think I'm just going to treat them as one sound, which I mostly do. Sometimes I'll high pass the DI a little bit more than I'll high pass the amp, but in this case, like the tones are really, really close together, so I'm kind of just going to treat them as one sound. Also, some of you might be thinking, why am I high passing bass at all? Well, I'm only going up to the lowest fundamental frequency of the root note, or the lowest note, and then rolling off everything below that, because you don't need that stuff, and it's going to muddy up your track. So if you high pass your bass a little bit, just to the lowest fundamental, you'll tighten up your bass a lot more. This is the Waves version of the Helios channel strip. This trick I'm using right now, I got it from Andrew Sheps in a YouTube video. Basically, if you select any of the frequencies on this EQ, and even if you don't boost or cut anything, it'll still affect the frequency. And yeah, sick, right? That's cool. And then the last thing on my bass chain, for the most part, tends to be an LA2A for the warmth of the tubes. And I just tap it. You don't have to get crazy with the compression. Just tap it and warm it up a little bit and level it. When I set my bass level, I'm listening to how it's interacting with the kick, because the kick and the bass are the backbone of your record, and if they are not getting along, then the whole thing's going to be thrown off. So far, I think we're in a pretty decent spot. I'm going to just keep bringing elements in as we go. I'll probably go with electrics next. I mean, these all sound great. The main thing is they're just a little too loud in relation to everything else. So I'm just gonna trim that down. So when I say I work 50 hours a week, it's like around that, but I work at some venues doing live sound, and I've learned a lot from mixing bands and stuff. And for real, like guitars can get super super loud um really fast, and they'll conflict with your vocals. So what I tend to do, especially if I get a session like this where I didn't record it and I don't know what the balance is like, you can just zero it out and then bring it back in until it hits the level that you're thinking is like matching what's in your head. The main thing though that I hate about mixing in Pro Tools now, at least just because I don't have a control surface, is I don't have any faders. I don't have any physical faders. So using the mouse to be like, I could go up a little bit more and then it ends up jumping like a whole dB or whatever. It's kind of annoying. I know you can, like, if you didn't know this and you click and hold a fader on Pro Tools and hold command, it'll let you change the increment by 0.1 dB. And then if you let go of that, it goes by like 0.5 increments. So that's a good little way to get fine tuning. But physical faders over a mouse any day. Any day. Yeah, okay, so these are playing separate things. So what I'm gonna do for all these, as you guys can see, um, I mean, these are both electric guitar 5. I think one of them is a DI and the other one's an amp mic. Same with this one. Same with these ones down here. Same with this guy and this guy. But then when it changes, so it's like electric guitar 1, electric guitar 1 DT, electric guitar 2, 3, 4. If it's a new guitar and its next one, it's gonna get panned. So I'm gonna put guitar 3 on the left and guitar 4 on the right. And then guitar 1 and 2 can do the same sort of situation. A lot of people, I mean, especially for hardcore and pop punk and rock and stuff, when you have double track guitars, people will hard pan them, and I fucking love that sound. But also, this isn't that, so I'm not gonna hard pan them. I'm just gonna create a little space in the middle. Nah, that's not what it is. Okay, so if it says DT, it's double tracked. So what we're gonna do is take the pairs, and they're gonna split off of each other, left and right. And then if it's a lead guitar part, like what 2 seems to be, it's gonna stay in the middle. These guys are fine the way they are. Double track on these guys so they can go left and right. I was like, why is it DT and not DI? Because it's not a fucking DI. It's double tracked. 7 double track. Another way you can do the whole double track sound thing without actually double tracking guitars is you could You could like mic up your amp close and then put a room mic like 10 feet away from it and record both of them, and then pan the room mic right and the amp left, and then match the levels, and that can be a nice substitute for this double track sound. All right, now that all these guitars are in, the drums are lacking in punch. So I'm gonna send the entire kit to a Crush, Dr. Crush. And my favorite parallel compressor for the kit actually is a distressor. The settings for it kind of vary, but the ratio tends to be pretty high, like 10-1. So really limiting, but whatever. No, that's release. What am I doing? Ratio 10-1. Release pretty fast. Start with the attack at 7. And the kick is not hitting hard enough at all for me anymore. So let's try this. And if I don't like this a whole lot, then what I'm going to do is create 2 parallels of the kick. One of them will be compression, and then the other one's going to be a transient designer. But let's see if this does the trick first. I guess there's a kick sub. I could use this to get that low end beef. But that 1176 actually sounds pretty good. So I'm going to do that. Like I said, I try not to use a whole lot of compression on live performances. Only where it's needed type shit. I also can't really hear that kick sub because I have really small monitors. So my low end is, if y'all are listening to this with a sub and you're like, your low end is fucked, well, it's because I can't really hear it that well. And I'll make the changes accordingly after I test this mix elsewhere. That's just part of the process, you know? Okay, so we're in a pretty good spot so far. Cool. All right, let's mess with these keys. So there's a B3, there's a Rhodes, and there's a synth. This is what a B3 sounds like. That rock and roll organ, but also churchy organ, whatever. Wow, that's tasteful. Holy shit. But all these motherfuckers are way too loud. So this is the lead guitar layer, so I brought that up a bit. For these guys, all I did was level them a little bit more, in relation to how I feel like the whole thing should vibe out. So that's good for now. I'm gonna keep moving because I like to move fast when I mix, and I don't like to spend too much time on one particular thing. These are all acoustic guitar layers, and as you guys can see, it's acoustic 1 double track, acoustic 2 double track, and so on and so forth. So we are going to do the same thing that we did with the electrics and pan them accordingly. And all of this panning is quite literally just to make extra room for the lead vocal once we bring that into the mix. Cool. Now, acoustic guitars, especially in rock songs, tend to be for texture more than anything. Or really in any song that also has like distorted electrics in it. So I might just like 176 it, give it some warmth, bring them up a little bit, but not so much that they're like on top. You really need to just feel it, and like the texture of the pick attack. Attack, make it solo. All right, for this electric, since it is the lead, I want to put it through a different compressor than the rest of the group. It will still hit that same group compressor, but this is just for a tonal thing. Keep it wide open, attack and release wise, so that it's really not messing with the dynamics. I know it's already pretty squashed because they probably tracked through a compression pedal or through an outboard compressor on the way in, which is totally fine. I'm cool with that. I actually like that, but this is just for tone. Damn, the kick still isn't doing it for me. All right, so I'm going to toss this parallel crushed kick in here. KPC. Kick parallel compression. We're going to put it through the drum group. DBX 160, Old Faithful, baby. This is the best parallel compressor in the game if you want it to only add weight and not change the tone of whatever it is that you're doing. This thing is so freaking awesome. All right, that's better. It was a little too clicky for me as well, so that's why I pulled some of that 5K out. We're moving right along, boys and girls. Damn, they double tracked this vocal 3 times or twice.
Breaking day, daybreak again, making hay for hay making men, killing time while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away. Cold hard cash for cold-hearted men, filling time for mortgaged empty souls. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away, and the night slowly dissolves into one long myopic stare into the inside of your skull, and it's more than you can bear, till the daylight crashes through like a blinding revelation. It's total desolation, such a seductive invitation.
Right. The overall tone of the vocal's great. I don't need to do a whole lot to it. So I'm gonna let it sit there as is for a second, and then I'm gonna audition some effects, because who doesn't love effects? So the way I do my vocal effects now, it's actually changed quite a bit since the last time I uploaded some of these videos. What I have in this template is I have my lead vocal going to an effects bus, and that effects bus is feeding every single one of these. And all of these, by default, are, their faders are at 0. Oh my fucking god.
Cold hard cash for cold-hearted men, filling time for mortgaged empty souls. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away, and the night slowly dissolves into one long myopic stare into the inside of your skull, and it's more than you can bear, till the daylight crashes through like a blinding revelation. It's total desolation.
Alright, so when these double tracks come in, the whole thing is just too fucking loud. So I'm gonna turn the double tracks way down so that they feel like a slight like padding on the vocal, consistency wise. Wow, my computer hates me right now.
And the night slowly dissolves into one long myopic stare into the inside of your skull, and it's more than you can bear, till the daylight crashes through like a blinding revelation. It's total desolation, such a seductive invitation to turn yourself around and fade away. Fade away.
I like a room reverb on vocals a lot for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's just like a more natural vibe that doesn't feel as like blatantly reverby as a lot of other reverb plugins do sound. So yeah, that's fun. Yeah, this is just a blend of a plate verb, a room verb, and a slap delay.
And
right, the vocal needs more compression though because it's getting lost. Not a whole lot, just a tasteful amount. I'm gonna use this guy from Klanghelm, the Mark III. I think it's supposed to be a what's it called? A retro stay level, but I'm not positive. So
And the night slowly dissolves into one long line of staring into the inside of your skull. And it's more than you can bear till the daylight crashes through like a blinding revelation. It's total desolation, such a seductive invitation.
all right, now the snare is just not bright enough for me. So this happens. Like this is what mixing is. It's going back and forth as you work on things and constantly readjusting the balance of things to make sure you get the vibe right. I'm gonna on the snare bottom. I'm gonna add some top end to get more of that of the actual snares. Hopefully that'll do the trick.
Breaking day.
I'm doing the same thing with the snare that I did with the kick, putting it in a routing folder and then putting that routing folder back into the drum folder, so that I can compress them together if I want to, which I do, and then also just adjust the level of both mics at once. Let's try a distressor on snare. I don't think I've done this. Drum compression, you guys, you gotta keep it wide open on the attacks and releases. This is not a fast attack, fast release situation. Or it's not a fast attack, slow release situation. It's slow as possible, let the transient through. Very fast release so that it lets go before the next transient hits. And what you're doing is just gently squeezing it while still maintaining punch. So they didn't route to my fucking thing. Bus, snare.
Breaking day. Daybreak again. Making hay. For hay making man.
All right, background vocals. There's a lot here. I already know. I'm already knowing. So, these two main ones, let's pan them pretty wide. And then let's see what else we got. Jesus, stacks on stacks on stacks. What do I want to do? Oh, they're all double track too. All right, so I guess I'll treat this all the same way that I've been treating everything else as double track. So if it's double tracked, it's gonna get panned. If it's not double tracked, it's gonna sit in the middle. Sometimes I'll do that thing where you like evenly space your background vocals like in a fan kind of situation. So you have two here and then more here and then here and then so you're like hard right and left. But I don't think that is gonna benefit this type of genre. And like super pop stuff, yeah, sure. But this needs to be more organic and natural. So I'm gonna just treat them all like stacks. Now, because I have all those effects pre-set up in my session, what I tend to do, since I don't want these to be hit all the exact same effects as the lead vocal, I'll just take one of those effects and change its input and then send the background vocal group to that bus so that whatever effects I'm putting on the background vocals are only on the background vocals and not on the lead vocals as well. I'll do that in just a second. Double track again. Zam, this man went hard with these BGVs. There's so many. I'm not mad about it, but it's like, it's a lot. So it's going to take a second. Another thing about panning anything is that if you set the level of something and it's down the middle and then you pan it, it's going to sound louder than it was. Because now it's like outside and you have a little bit of contrast and it's not being masked by whatever else was in the middle in the same frequency range. So you may have to like readjust your levels if you don't have something panned and then go ahead and pan it. Yeah, it's just my 2 cents on the matter. All right, sick. That took too long. Anyway, background vocals.
Killing time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
Damn, that stack is actually juicy. Yeah, this one.
Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
I'm a big fan of the auto release on background vocals on the G-Bus compressor. I think it's fucking sick, and it saves me a lot of thinking about how fast I want this to be. I think the background vocals could warm up a little bit though, so let's just put a LA2A on them right before the G-Bus for that tube and not necessarily for dynamics.
Killing time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
All right. Because there's a stack of lower harmonies in there, it gets a little bit muddy, so let's just clear some of that up. Not so much so that it thins it out, but just so that it's a little...
Killing time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
Much better. Okay, now I'm going to do some pop stuff, but borrow it from pop. Micro shift. If you're not using this on vocals, I don't know what you're doing. It's so good. Just the presets. Holy shift. Ready?
Killing time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away. Killing time, while time slowly kills you.
Micro shift is going to add quite a bit of a level jump, so I'm going to trim it on the fader.
Killing time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line.
All right, cool. Now for effects, I'll probably just toss them in a hall. Actually, no. Do I have a chamber? This can become a chamber if I wanted to. Yeah, but put it that 80s color on it. A little bit more high pass. Hall inputs bus. I know I have a hall bus. Fuck, call it harms, whatever. And then where are my background vocals? Then we go here. Send them to the same bus.
Killing time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
then I like to put microshift on my lead vocal as well, and I have a custom preset that I made. That really just adds some clarity to the lead vocal and separates it from everything else, which is just magic. Microshift is kind of like a chorus in that it works by using delays and phase tricks, but only one, whereas choruses have 2, 3, maybe 4 delays.
Killing time while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away. Killing time while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
All right, well, that's all the stems. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. I'm gonna start working on my mix bus a little bit, and see what we can do with this.
Killing time while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away. When all you wanna do is fade away. The TV's on. It's ad break again. Cold hard cash for cold-hearted men. Feeling time for mortgaged empty souls. Wait in line when all you wanna do.
No. Okay, hold on. Oh, I'm only on 1 times oversample? Bruh, come on.
When all you wanna do is fade away. The TV's on. It's ad break again. Cold hard cash for cold-hearted men. Feeling time for mortgaged empty souls. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away. And the night slowly dissolves into one long iambic stare into the inside of your skull.
All right, real quick, what I did to the mix bus. This is N-Fuse from Kive Audio, which is basically they took the Neve Master Bus Transformer, which is an outboard piece of gear, and the SSL Fusion, and took impulse responses of the modules of each of them and put them both into a plugin. And they let you switch between the modules of each with these nice little buttons here. So this was what the Master Bus Transformer does. And then if you look at it like this, we're now in SSL mode, right? They sound completely different, slightly different parameters. But I tend to like the Neve one for a lot of reasons, mainly just because it's really warm. But I found myself with like pop stuff using the SSL side a little bit more. You can also change the signal chain right here, which is really great. And yeah, so without this,
Turn yourself around and fade away.
then the God particle, but only 40%. Because so the thing about the God particle is it's freaking awesome, and it's very recommended when you use it to start with your mix with it in. However, I find that I bank on it too much to make my mix sound a specific way. So what I've been doing recently is get the mix sound good, then do the put your mix bus stuff on. Make sure this is always hitting right. Make sure the input gain is good. But then play with the amount, because especially for a band, like I'm pretty sure Jason Joshua designed this with the intent of working on the types of music that he works on, which is top 40 stuff and global hits and all that good stuff, which is fucking great. And for that, it's perfect. But when you have a live performance in a band, sometimes it doesn't translate as well. So you can kind of just pull it back, but it'll still sound great. So like,
Turn yourself around and fade away.
I'm only at 40%. And my short-term lefts are still in minus 9.1. So I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good to me. So for now, I'm done with this. I'm going to come back, listen to it on some other systems, and then revise potentially. And then, yeah, that'll be it. I'll, of course, link these stems in the description if anyone else wants to take a stab at it. Yeah, thanks for watching. I took a break, and then I also demoed a new plugin in the time that I stopped recording the last take of this. So there's only like one thing I did in the mix to change stuff, and that was just turn the overheads down a bit because there's too much high end and too much cymbals. But then I was on Instagram and saw an ad for the Make Believe Mix Head, which is an emulation of the Machine Head hardware that Serbian Guinea uses. And this thing is freaking awesome, and I am definitely going to be buying it. So I'm going to play this mix for y'all. Jesus Christ. I'm going to bypass this one for now. Or I'll bypass both of them, and I'll just compare them for you. So, mix with just the God particle.
Making hay for hay making man, killing time while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
Just wanted to adjust the vocal EQ there for a second. But yeah, all right. So this is the original mix that I left you guys with, plus the changes I made, which are less overheads and that EQ tweak.
Breaking day, daybreak again, making hay for hay making man, killing time while time slowly.
Sounds good. And this is with the mix head.
Breaking day, of time, while time slowly kills you. Wait in line when all you wanna do is fade away.
It's just insane. It sounds so freaking good. It's just digital tape saturation. I got put a little, like, let's see, 3.1 drive. Oh, you can see right here, 3.1 drive, a tiny bit of a high boost, and then 30 inches per second tape speed.
Break in,